But yeah, this stuff can be done at home. Main thing is just making sure you have something else to drive in the meantime. This isn't something you're gonna get done in like a quick thing. Because a lot of things come up. I find in my own experience is like parts you didn't know were bad uh, at the time that you ordered the parts. So when you actually tear into it, you got to get up more parts than you thought you did. So it sets you back because you got to wait for those parts to come or the time to install them and such and so forth. So it's something to keep in mind, this kind of thing of how mechanics do this stuff. It's what's called service information. It's basically like your cookbook to follow the directions to follow specific directions to get uh, the desired repair done correctly. So say these gaskets don't leak and everything works good. You don't just pull it out of thin air and just do what you feel like. You just follow the directions. Because yeah, it takes a lot of tools to do this kind of thing, but you accumulate it over time, and it pays for itself when you don't have to take your stuff to a shop or sell your car because the cost to fix it at a shop is too much. But if you can do it at home and you save your money and put it towards the tools instead, it makes sense to me. And if you're new to this kind of thing, you can start out small, do like your own oil changes and such, or your brakes, things like that, and follow directions. Hang out with other people that like to do this kind of thing. I learned a ton of stuff from like people like that, the older folks that like this kind of stuff. I mean, I did go to college for this also too. Like I had an associate's degree in this stuff too. It does help, but it's just a piece of paper too. You know, getting out there and doing this stuff hands on there's really no substitute for that. And learning these things. It's like down here is some RTV straight up on this thing. Get in there closer for you guys. Get the light in here too. It might help. You can see those ridges of the RTV right here. Look at that. That's not supposed to be there. It's coming right up too. That's the main thing. How good your gaskets are to leak when you go through and put in the attention to this detail. Makes all the difference. Cleaning up these surfaces as good as you can get it with careful attention not to damage it by being too rough. I'll move it closer here. There we go. Get this light adjusted. There we go. That's pretty good. So if you get this all nice and clean and flush, that gasket will be that much better because you don't have all that old RTV and gasket remnants for it to be a weak spot, for it to blow out when you're in the middle of nowhere and stranded. Yeah, it kind of sucks and it's tedious. There's probably faster ways to do this as well, but we're just working with what we got right here in front of us. I could look into getting like the little whizzy wheel things that are the right material so they don't damage any of the material. And they just take the gasket stuff off. I'm always trying to get better tools and better equipment, so I'm not going to be doing it this way forever. Try to get better things. But this just shows that you can do it with these basic type of things as well. It just takes longer, that's all. But if you got the time, it's not a big deal. Then you can look back on and have a good comparison once you get the better ways to do this stuff. You could be like, hey, man, it makes such a big difference because I know what it was like when I didn't have all that. You know, coming from nothing, you know. And this side here's got some RTV as well. See that? Move it closer so I can make sure you guys are actually seeing what you're supposed to be seeing instead of staring at the wall or the floor or something, or my arm. How's that? Kind of sucks. There we go, that's better. Yeah, these little remnants will make it leak if you don't get this stuff out. Oh yeah, that's coming off. It's all about the attention to detail on these critical engine things. That looks really good right there. Then this ridge right here from the intake manifold gasket. Just going through and getting this stuff off. And just keep in mind this stuff gets baked on from all the heat cycles from when it was in the engine installed. So it's pretty baked into there. Almost like one material combined from the heat cycles, baking it in. I gotta run to the bathroom real quick. I'll be real quick here. To super clean this stuff really good. And that's the name of the game with this, getting this stuff ready for being reinstalled. Just kidding. We'll go over this part. Try to get any last remnants of these gasket surfaces super clean. Oh, this old RTV right here. Get that stuff out of here so you can put your new RTV in that area without it having that compromised area of old RTV. Yeah, and if I had it in the budget to have all these parts all on demand ordered every time I need something lickety split. I think I'd had this done already a long time ago, but I don't have super big budget to buy every single thing all at once. Yeah, it'd be nice, but I mean, decent enough budget to get through this, but it's not like that kind of budget. Got wife and kids and mortgage and whatnot, and gotta be at work and stuff. So this is what I figure it can fit in. I mean, it still beats having a car payment. You know, you're working on older stuff, and this stuff's kind of like a time capsule. And where I came from back in New York, all this stuff's all rusty junk. Like, this stuff's not rusty here in Colorado. So that's a big bonus for me. Something like this van wouldn't even exist in New York where I'm from. Or if you did come across it, it's they want a crazy price for it. Because all they did is get it from somewhere area like where I am now and take it up to New York and sell it to somebody that wants it bad enough in the Rust Belt area. Because they know in the Rust Belt area this stuff don't exist. Or it doesn't exist. You know? Just getting the last bits of gunk out of here. And it makes the big difference. Just going through and checking all these little details. Let's check this side. This side has some areas that were concerned. Just getting it ready so when it's time to put it all back together, this stuff's already done. And you just focus on reinstalling it correctly and installing the intake manifold gaskets on right, applying your RTV in the right spots and the right amounts, all that stuff. I'll get my blade. There we go. Try to get it so you guys can see. Get the light closer. There we go. That's better. Look at that. That little chunk of rubbery stuff came off right away. A little bit more for the rest of it because it's kind of baked into there. It's coming out, guys. A bit more to go on it. I'll move the camera even closer so you can get a better idea of what it would look like. Yeah, it's coming out. Really kind of tedious stuff, but really important at the same time. Just take your time and do a good job, you know, if you're doing this kind of thing. Because if you think of it this way, you do it right, and it's done, and go on with life. You do it wrong and rush, then you got to be tearing it back apart and doing it again anyway. It's a good incentive for me to do this right the first time. That little bit's kind of like baked into there. I try to use my thumb here in the center to put even pressure down on it, so I'm not putting it all like on some like gouge in the middle. That's the whole philosophy behind that method. There we go, getting some that chunk out of there. Oops. Getting my carpal tunnel going in my thumb from this. Yeah. Oh, I didn't even notice this little chunk of RTV still sitting there too. It's like you're never really done. You're going over it a million times. And yeah, that came out good. That wasn't too much effort to take that part out. There. Just when I think it's challenging, that part just came off effortlessly. And these parts like that need a little more elbow grease, going over it again and again and again, just to get it right. You get these surfaces all nice and good, it's gonna stick good and equates to more power. The engine's not losing vacuum anywhere or leaking. All the fluids that are supposed to be in one spot are staying that way. Done correctly, makes a difference. Makes all the difference. There we go. Now it's actually just metal there. And you can see like the stain from, well, not a stain, the area where that rubber part was. Because it was stuck so good to the metal. Oh, I didn't realize people were coming. My bad. Just wire brush that, blow it out, a very light smear of silicone. Always goes around the water jackets. Yep. Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, that's basically, yeah, it's exactly like what the service information is saying. Yeah, you're not wrong. Thanks for commenting, the real 1%. Appreciate you for stopping in and commenting. giving us some good advice. I think like a brass wire brush would be ideal for this, to be on the safe side. I'd have to pick one up. I don't have one currently, unfortunately. But something to add to the toolbox, right? Always need an excuse to add more tools and stuff to the toolbox. I mean, my wife's pretty good. She does. I don't have to justify whatever I buy to her, which is nice. Within reason, you know. Pretty much, yeah. I still have to get valves. I'm gonna get a new set of valves and the stuff to change out for that. So I just got the valve lapping tool, so I'm gonna get the valve lapping compound as well. So we're getting closer to the finish line on this, guys. Because we're already in here for doing the spider injector and intake manifold gaskets as well. So I was like, oh, I'm just going to tear it down and change out the head gaskets while I'm in there, even though they weren't even blown. I'm just like, well, we're just going to do it as while I'm there kind of thing. That way they're good to go for the future and I don't have to worry about it. Have to tear down into this at all. If I do all this right, then I won't have to tear it down again. But yeah, I appreciate your commenting and watching, and means a lot to me. A lot of you guys will watch, and I don't hear nothing from a majority of them. It's nice to have some kind words and somebody uh, having some good feedback about what I'm doing. Right? That's what I'm shooting for. You get the right idea, right? I'm not trying to put this on the drag strip or anything. It's just grocery getter and family mover kind of thing. Just trying to be reliable and get good fuel economy and such. Bring it back to more of its former glory back when it was all fresh. Basically freshening up all this stuff. Because I've done a ton of stuff on this thing already. This is like one of the last things I didn't do was all the top part of the engine stuff. Like the fuel injectors and the I got the ignition coil and the ignition coil module to change out too. New idle air control valve, throttle position sensor. Yeah, so everything basically in that area of this intake manifold and head gasket stuff's getting changed out. So I don't have to do it again and tear into, because they buried it in the side of this engine, and it's kind of already a struggle because it's in an Astro van and you're doing it through the doghouse, through the inside of the cabin. Most of this. It does have the 2-inch body lift spacers in the front, which makes it a lot easier to get to the engine parts versus if you didn't, because like the spark plugs and whatnot. Because it's really tight if you don't have that body spacers in there. Because this has the 4-inch lift in it total. And most of the stuff's from Journeys Off-Road. I'm not affiliated with anybody. Everything on this channel is just bought with my own money. It's just what I bought. So that's for what that's worth. Just putting that out there. Nobody's paying me to sell anything here on this channel. Yeah, it's like a stain. I don't even think that's anything there. Yeah, the van's lifted. I can, if you're just tuning in for the first time, I can show you it. I'll set this down and show you guys. Yeah, it's got 29-inch tires. I'll show you. I really do appreciate it. So I'll keep more stuff coming. And until next time, guys, I'll stay tuned for more. All right. God bless you guys. Till next time.